Hello and welcome back to Halloween Month. Today we're going to be taking a look at the hit Netflix series Stranger Things. The more I think about how I want to approach this review, and the more I think about what I want to talk about, what specifics I want to hit, and how I want to execute this review, I realize this is a really hard show for me to review because I want to talk about everything, but I don't want to keep you guys here all day. You know, there's the characters, the story, the mystery. Do I do spoilers because it's like a year old? Do I not do spoilers? It's really hard to say. So what I want to do is just sort of talk about my experience with the show without going into spoilers and, just talk about it. You know, talk about the characters, sort of a free-form thing, not really super organized, maybe a little all over the place. Just a ramble about Stranger Things, how it affected me as a show, what I thought of it. So let's get started. First of all, the premise alone is what got me interested because, well, not the premise of the story, but the genre, the type of story it's telling. Things that try to be kind of creepy or kind of spooky, they have those elements that'll make you, a little uneasy, but not outright scary, not outright horror or gory or really trying to scare you, but just building an atmosphere, building an environment, uses of shadows and forests and things like that. Things like you'd see in like a Goosebumps cartoon, or not cartoon, a Goosebumps episode. Goosebumps episodes could be cheesy, and they definitely weren't scary, but some of the really good Goosebumps episodes created an atmosphere, created a tone. And that's what I really love about Stranger Things. It's right up my alley. It's not too scary, it's not too horror-oriented. It has enough focus on characters, making them feel real, making them feel relatable. The mystery, the conspiracy with the town and the laboratory nearby and the monster that's running around. Again, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but it's episode 1 stuff. There is a creature that takes this kid, and upon watching the show again, lines of dialogue just after their first D&D game, it's I'm not gonna say it's better watching the show a second time, but there are definitely moments in the show that feel, or not feel, but they, how do I want to word this? You watch the moment the first time and you watch it, whatever. The second time though, it has a whole new meaning. You know what I mean? That's what I want to say. It has a whole new meaning, or like, I see what you did there, and things like that. And it's really awesome. Rewatching the show, I was thinking like, that's a huge undertaking. It's 8 episodes. They're all like an hour long. That's like watching 4 movies back to back. Can I get this done by Saturday? And then I ended up rewatching the entire show in a day. Like, it's disgusting, but I did because I had the time. And that's how I watched the show the first time. It's so engrossing and so interesting, and the way everything is layered. Like, you find out a few things in this episode, but then it raises a few questions, and then those questions get answered in the next episode, but then it raises more questions, and it gives you pieces, and it's just enough to keep you interested, or at least keep me interested, to see what's going to happen, and to see the different groups that are looking for this friend who went missing, who was, possibly killed, possibly kidnapped, possibly taken to some other place by this creature. You have the kids looking for him. You have the mother trying to communicate with him. You have the town sheriff who's in way over his head with his laboratory and cover-ups and stuff like that, where he's just the small town sheriff of a small town. That was kind of redundant, but you know what I mean. Of a town that just doesn't have crime. Like, there's little things here and there probably, but nothing bad, nothing like a missing child or a suicide or anything crazy. But once this laboratory becomes involved, and I haven't even mentioned Elle yet, 11, the psychic kid who's in the show, it's just crazy. Like, it's just a crazy ride, I think is the best way to say it. It's just a ride, and you stay on for all 8 hours of it because it keeps giving you more. No episode feels pointless. No episode feels like filler. I will say there's a plot line that kind of feels like filler that involves one of the main boys' sister dating this jerk in school, and he's a jerk, but he's realistic. He's not a total asshole, he's not a total scumbag. He has a 3-dimensional character with a character arc, and he develops, so that's cool, and I like that. But the storyline itself isn't like anything super compelling, and it doesn't quite tie in with the rest of the story, at least not at first, and it does tie in later. So it has its place for sure. It's just the love triangle with this other guy and some of this stuff. It's not badly handled. You can definitely watch it, but the way I was watching it was, okay, this isn't bad. I don't hate what I'm watching. I don't dislike it necessarily, but what's the point? Where is this going? It's the bratty older sister dating this jerk. Obviously, he's not good for her. He's a bad influence, but where is this going? And the characters develop, and it ties in with the main plot, with the creature, and finding the boy, and it all comes together by the end. But even rewatching it a second time, I was thinking, Yeah, these early parts really don't give you a lot. Like they don't really like these early parts with this storyline in particular, they don't give you much as far as like the actual overall story goes. That is until this girl, the sister, has a more of a stake in finding this monster and finding it and taking it down and things like that. But yeah, it comes together nicely. It's really my only criticism of the show, honestly. I mean, I could nitpick and say that the '80s horror influence stuff in the background was maybe a little much, like having a Thing poster here and there. The teacher was on a date watching the movie The Thing on TV, and I know it takes place in the '80s, and that's the good thing about the show, for the most part, is that they don't throw the '80s at you. They don't throw it up all over your face. It takes place in the '80s, and the kids feel like '80s kids. I mean, I'm not an '80s kid, so I guess I can't really speak on it, but the fact that these kids feel authentic in their time period, considering that they're obviously kids and, they weren't even thought of in the '80s, they're way younger than me, is really a testament to how good they are as actors. And I like that they swear too. It's just another level of realism that makes them feel more realistic and grounded in a story that's not realistic and grounded. The show does a really good job of blending these different elements, and I just it's phenomenal. Honestly, like I feel like I've been underselling the show because I've been talking about all these good things about it, but it really is just fantastic. I was so engrossed, so entertained, and so thoroughly wanting to know what's going to happen the first time I watched it that even watching it the second time, it was just as immersive and just as engrossing for me personally. But I guess you have to be into this sort of thing. That's sort of like, it's going to build an atmosphere. It's going to set a tone. It's going to have some creepy moments or some unsettling moments, but it's not going to be anything horror related as far as like jump scares and really trying to scare you and blood and gore and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's really about, well, the title is being strange and paranormal and what's going on, and I love the focus on characters. It feels very Stephen King. I don't know if I've said that yet. It's very Stephen King. It's not by him, but I could see someone believing that it is, with the psychic child and the one-dimensional bullies that bully our main kid characters, and some other elements in there that feel very Stephen King. But it's not Stephen King. But it feels like a loving homage to his style of writing and focusing on characters and not really focusing on the creature. The creature takes a backseat to character development and character realism, and it's a Stephen King miniseries done right, I guess. You know what I mean? It's just such a good show. Again, you have to be into this kind of thing, though. Its pacing is tight, it's solid, but you have to be into the characters. You have to be into the mystery of what's going on and wanting to know what's what's going on with the cover-ups and everything. You have to be interested in the series itself, not just like, oh, I want to see the monster do cool stuff, or oh, I want to see this or that or whatever. You really have to start watching it, and if you get invested and you like what you're seeing and you keep going, you're really going to like the show. It's not something you want to watch. It's not like something where, you could say like Daredevil's a great show, but you could also recommend it to someone like, yeah, Daredevil has a bunch of badass action if you want to see cool action, and then maybe you'll like the story too. This show really owns that it's like '80s, like it's E.T., it's Goonies, it's Monster Squad. It very much owns that it's all of these things in a more grounded and realistic sense. And if you're into that kind of stuff, you're probably going to have a great time. I can't wait for season 2. But yeah, I enjoyed the show a lot. Hopefully you got something out of this video. It was just me rambling about how much I like the show. But it's such a fun show, and I wanted to be vague about it because I don't want to spoil too much. But yeah, it's so much fun. And shouts out to Winona Ryder as Joyce Byers. Absolutely phenomenal performance. I mean, everyone does a great job acting-wise, but her performance, and is she going crazy? Is she not going crazy? Is she right but still going crazy at the same time? Just her performance and her emotion was absolutely outstanding. Props to her. Standout performance of the entire show, for sure. It doesn't hit you too hard with the '80s nostalgia, and I mean, I guess maybe that's because I wasn't born in the '80s, so I don't feel the nostalgia of it. It just sort of feels like the '80s time period, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask about that kind of thing, but I don't feel like it was overbearing with the '80s nostalgia. It captured the feeling of the town, it captured the tone it wanted, it had great performances from a ton of really good actors. The kids are super likable, relatable, they feel realistic. When they're really happy and excited and talking to each other, you feel it, and it puts a smile on my face. It's just, I don't really have much else to say. It's just a really good show on all fronts. The only criticism I have is that one plot line that doesn't quite tie in enough at first for me to be super interested in it. It does end up tying in, like I said, but until it does, it's just kind of there. But other than that, I thought the show was fantastic. It's well-paced. It's tightly written. You can watch the whole thing in one sitting if you're a disgusting freak like me, I guess. I don't know. I have the time sometimes to do that kind of thing. Not lately. Lately, I've been super busy, but I watched all of it like a week ago. I was supposed to get this video out on Saturday. I suck. I apologize. But yeah, things have been so busy lately. I couldn't get it done by Saturday. But anyways, I guess I can wrap this thing up. What did you guys think of Stranger Things? Have you seen it? Do you want to see it after watching this video? Are you excited for season 2 like I am? I'm going to try to get the season 2 review out on the 28th. I'm going to try to watch the whole show in one day. Mario Odyssey also comes out that day, so that'll consume my life. But I'll try to get it out Saturday or Sunday, wrap up Halloween month with a brand new, review of something that's not old, it's brand new, it's current. Stranger Things season 2. So, with all that being said, once again, what do you guys think of Stranger Things? Are you excited for season 2? Like I already said, give this video a thumbs up, share it on social media. Both those would help me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you like what you've seen here. Click that little bell to get notifications when my videos go up. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.